In the fog-covered hills of West Virginia, a small town named Crescent Hollow slept quietly under a cold November moon. The streets were empty, the gas station sign flickered like a dying candle, and the sound of wind brushed against rusted window panes. On the edge of this town stood a lonely radio station, WNKR 103.6 FM, known to locals as The Whisper. The host of its late-night show, Evelyn Moore, was known for her calm, honeyed voice that drifted through the dark like a lullaby for insomniacs and truckers crossing state lines. Her show, Midnight Murmurs, played strange tales sent by listeners from across the country. Most stories were harmless. Haunted farmhouses, ghostly children, mysterious phone calls. But one winter night, Evelyn received a package that changed everything. It came in a plain brown envelope. No name, no return address, just a sticker on the front. A faded symbol that looked like a spiral with a black dot in the center. Inside, there was an old cassette tape, labeled in shaky handwriting. "Play me at 3 a.m. Evelyn chuckled when she saw it. Probably some prank, she thought. Still, her curiosity overpowered caution. The clock ticked, the red on-air light blinked, and she began her show like always, unaware that tonight's broadcast would be her last. At 2:59 a.m., she placed the tape into the recorder. The reel began to spin. At first, there was only static, then a faint whisper. It was unclear, like someone breathing close to the microphone. Evelyn turned the volume up. The whispers grew louder, overlapping, like several voices speaking at once, male, female, old, young, all tangled into a soft, chaotic symphony. And then, among the voices, one word became clear. Her name. Evelyn. She froze. The air inside the studio turned heavy the way it does before a thunderstorm. She looked around. The control room empty, the door shut tight. No one inside but her. The whispers continued, now mixed with sounds of footsteps. Slow, dragging footsteps. And the squeal of a door opening. Her heart raced. It wasn't from the tape anymore. The sound was coming from the hallway behind her. Evelyn switched off the playback, but the footsteps didn't stop. They grew louder, closer, until they reached just outside the studio door. Then, silence. She stood up and went to check. The hallway lights flickered weakly. Empty. Only the soft hum of the generator echoed in the distance. When she returned to her seat, the tape was spinning again. But this time, the reel wasn't connected to any power source. It was moving on its own. Her headphones filled with a voice, deeper, clearer, and disturbingly familiar. It was her own voice, saying words she never recorded. "I told you not to play it." Her skin turned cold. The temperature in the room dropped sharply. Her breath came out in pale mist. Then, all the lights went out. The broadcast cut to dead air across Crescent Hollow. The next morning, the station's technician, Mark Hanley, arrived for the morning shift. He found the studio door locked from the inside. He knocked. No answer. He forced it open and froze. The studio was a wreck. Papers scattered, equipment shattered, microphones bent. Evelyn's chair was toppled over. But there was no sign of Evelyn. Only one thing remained untouched. The cassette tape, still spinning slowly, even though the machine was unplugged. Mark picked it up trembling. The tape had changed. It now had a new label written in. Locals claimed they could still hear Evelyn's voice when driving through the hills after midnight. A faint transmission on old FM radios, whispering stories that no one remembers writing. Truckers swore that tuning to 103.6 FM after 3 a.m. made their headlights flicker and their CB radios go silent. And in every story Evelyn told before she vanished, a spiral symbol was hidden on walls, papers, or even shadows. Years later, in 2014, a podcast host named Clara Henson, fascinated by unsolved mysteries, decided to investigate the legend of the last broadcast. She managed to find Mark Hanley, the technician who discovered the studio. He refused to talk about what he saw, only said that Evelyn's last night was not human. Curiosity turned to obsession. Clara visited the abandoned WNKR station deep in the woods. Its structure was half collapsed, covered in ivy and graffiti. But inside, she found something chilling. The control room still intact, the on-air light faintly glowing red, even though there was no power. And there, resting on the desk, was a dust-covered cassette recorder. Inside it, a blank tape. Clara pressed play. Static filled the air. And then she heard her own voice, panicked, gasping, recorded in real time. Who's there? The recorder clicked off by itself. When police found Clara's car parked outside 3 days later, it was still running. But she was gone. On the passenger seat, they found a new cassette, labeled in the same shaky handwriting. Play me at 3 a.m. Epilogue today, Crescent Hollow is nearly a ghost town. The station signal, long thought dead, sometimes reappears, just for a few minutes at exactly 3 a.m. It plays soft static, then a voice, calm, feminine, soothing. Evelyn's voice. Listeners report that it tells different stories every time. Stories that eerily match the dreams of whoever is listening. And once you hear it, the station follows you. Every radio, every speaker, even your phone, begins to echo faint whispers late at night. The signal doesn't want to be found. It wants to spread. And if you ever hear a faint transmission saying your name, don't answer, just turn it off. Because the moment you listen, you become part of the broadcast.